Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? I'm doing well, thank you for asking. A bite to beat down here on this Tuesday afternoon. Today, as the title suggests and as the thumbnail suggests, you guessed it, we're going to be doing squats today. Squats. So, today's workout is... Let me kind of redo this. Let me redo this. Now, number one, I got to redo this because I take my live streams and after I live stream, I go ahead and I edit the video because I also save the video while I'm streaming. So I edit the video and then I upload it in an edited form, so it's a shorter form video for people that don't want to watch an hour or 2 hour long video. Anyway, so we're going to start this intro over. I got a lot going on in the old brain right now. So let's start over. Y'all ready? Hey, how's everybody doing today? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. The body beat down here on this Tuesday afternoon. Today we're going to be doing squats. That's right, the old squats leg day. And you probably figured that out from the title and the thumbnail. So I don't have any real plans as to what I'm going to do today. I just know I'm doing squats. I have a couple of things that I'm looking at though, no real plans, but a couple of ways that this could go is we do sets of 5 and get to a nice high weight and try to get 5 reps here and 5 reps at that and maybe work our way back down 5 reps at a time. Or we try to hit another PR, which I don't know if I really feel PR-ish today. So it can go a dozen different directions. Shiki. Hey Shiki, glad you popped in here. And how's everybody doing today? I'm doing well, thank you for asking. The body beat down. Anyway. So probably, now I'm not going to get on a topic too much. I do have in the title that we're going to have a discussion, but I'm not going to get too deep into the discussion, into the details of too much. But let's just say that false accusations have destroyed a lot of people in the world, and that goes from your nobodies like me all the way up to people that are in being sentenced to prison and jail for 20, 30, 50 years and they're innocent, to big CEOs being accused of things, or even these musicians, rappers and such being accused of things, and sometimes they're being falsely accused. So we're going to probably touch on some false accusations and see how that goes today. But for now, let's go ahead and start with some squats. As you know, we start out with 135, and it takes me a couple of good sets before I start warming up and getting a little bit looser to where I can move my shoulder and my hips and everything. So anywho, let's go ahead and get started on some squats and see where this goes. Let's go ahead and start this crazy thing we call squats. And I meant to move the camera. I need to have the camera over here, but we'll move it. We'll move it. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Whew. already too heavy. That's what she said. One, two, three, four, five. Good grief. Hello, John. I'm glad you could pop in. Yeah, that'll work. So, I got to thinking just a little while ago that we're coming up on the end of the year. And I remember last year, coming into the new year, that's when I first pulled my 500-pound deadlift goal. Was New Year's Eve 2003. What a moment. That was a good moment. And something I'll probably not forget. It's moments like that that stick with you for life, I think, whenever you reach certain goals. Whatever the goals might be, it don't have to be working out, but certain goals that you work hard for and you get, and you tend to remember those moments quite fondly. So let's go ahead and do another set of 135. Whew. Oh my God. Whew. Whew. So, something that I was thinking about. You ever do front squats? No, I don't do front squats. I think I tried them one time, quite some time back, and they didn't feel good for me. So, yeah, I didn't do any front squats. But for those people that can, it looks like it's a really good alternative. So I know I've only got one viewer in here, maybe still, and but this is something that kind of popped into my head last night as I was sitting up in the living room with my wife. She watches a lot of the crime investigation TV and court TV and all that kind of investigation kind of stuff and all these different things. And we seen a story last night of a guy who was imprisoned back in the 80s, the late 80s. And 40 years later, they're trying to retry him, try him, whatever. Because they found that he's not guilty of what he committed, of the crime he supposedly committed. And they got me to thinking a lot about people like myself. That not quite as serious as that, but at the same time, it kind of is in our own worlds. A lot of times we get accused of things in life that are simply not true. And even though you can have somebody judge you and even have a jury there to decide your fate, all those people can get everything wrong and still have a person be guilty when they are innocent. And the thing that struck me whenever I got to thinking about that was I correlate that a lot to when I do my working out. Online, a lot of times you get people saying that you're doing steroids or TRT or whatever else that you're doing, and they'll swear it up and down. They'll swear it to whatever they got to swear to that they are correct. And what they fail to understand is how incorrect they are. So whenever you look at stuff like those trials that I'm talking about, when people get sentenced and they're actually not guilty, that lets you see just how wrong people can be in their thinking process and their judgment of people. And so people out there are getting wrongly accused of a lot of stuff all the time. And when you know the truth, it makes it quite difficult on you to let things go and to kind of look around things and just kind of brush it off, because you know the truth. Just like that guy that was in prison for 40 years, he knows the truth, and so he probably fought for 40 years along with some other people out there fighting for him for 40 years because somebody out there knows the truth. And that kind of correlates and goes along with what we go through whenever we work out. And I know I'm taking a minute here between my sets. I don't usually like to do that, but so never seen steroids make your body look like an average stocky guy. Exactly. And exactly. and exactly. You're saying it right there. If you work out 5 days a week like I work out religiously all the time, and you move the amount of weight that I move all the time, and you eat decent foods like I try to eat all the time, I got news for people. You're not going to look like this. I have the exact same body that I've had since I was 30 years old. When I turned 30, I I started looking like a potato. So my body shows nothing of TRT, steroids, HGH, tren, any of these things. My body shows nothing. Not only does my body show nothing, but even probably the amounts of weights that I'm moving shows nothing. Because I'm not going to call myself strong, but I'm going to say I'm this strong naturally. So if I was on something, I'd probably be doing another 50 pounds on all my lifts, if not more. And then if I wanted to go up even more, I'd have to take more gear, I guess. I don't know how it all works. You know why? Because I'm clean. I'm natural. And if I ever decided to do anything, and I've said it before, you guys would be the first to know, because there's nothing to hide. What gets me is I can squat 400 pounds. Nobody bats an eye. I can deadlift 500 pounds. Nobody bats an eye. But you lay down on a bench and you bench 300 pounds for 10, or you bench 405 pounds for 1 struggling rep, and all of a sudden you're on steroids. All of a sudden that's all it takes for you to be on steroids, is to bench press more than someone else. All the other lifts don't matter. My 285 pound sitting barbell shoulder press, that don't matter. The other week, a couple weeks back or so, I did almost a 200 pound cheat curl. I don't know anybody out here in my everyday life that's going to do that. Am I on steroids because I did that? People don't make sense. Yeah, I don't even know that, runner boy. I don't know what gear does, if it makes you recover faster. I do know it gives you false muscle, because a lot of times as soon as people stop taking it, they start shrinking up. Not only that, a lot of times their muscles and their tendons and ligaments and all that end up weaker because they put on all this strength and mass before they had time for their bodies to get stronger, to match the muscle and the strength. So I have no symptoms of anyone that's on TRT or anything else. So anybody that's claiming that is absolutely falsely accusing someone of something they don't do. And typically that comes from ignorance, and typically it comes from jealousy and lack of self-motivation and effort on their part. That's where it comes from. Let's do a set. $225. Yeah, really shaky. Shaky. Dad bods. See, people underestimate other people. Just because they might not be strong, they think everyone else is not strong. There's no way that someone else could be stronger than you, especially if they're older than you. There's no way. Or is there? You took a little bit of a deload week, runner boy. That's good. And some people out there think that's stupid. And they're the ones that are getting worn out, beat down, and injured. So I wouldn't listen to them. Exactly, Sheiky. There's so many factors with this. That's why it's hard to explain things to people. You know, people ask, well, how can I get my bench better? How can I get stronger? How can I do this and how can I do that? And you try to give them some sort of an educated answer, but at the same time, you know, it's hard to answer something like that because everybody's so different. You know, like I mentioned before in one of my videos, we all probably know someone that's like this tall, probably 350 pounds, don't work out, who could come in here and do all this stuff and without even breaking a sweat. They got hands this big, wrists that big. They're just big, huge people that can just, they're just strong. Then you got some guys that are 150 pounds soaking wet that can do what you're doing. So you can't just point fingers and go, you're on something, you're doing something. Because it's all over the place. And just because you're over the age of 30, which seems to be the cutoff date for everything, once you're over the age of 30, you're done, according to the masses. And like I've mentioned before in my other videos, I had no idea that that was a thing. And that's probably why I've never put limits on myself. Because I had no idea that, well, after 30, you might as well just die. You might as well just, you know, I had no idea. But the good news is I'm still that way. Because I know the truth. See, I'm living it. I'm experiencing it all the time. And I know the truth about it. Where a lot of other people, they don't do that. How many times does the average person work out, you think? The person that says, yep, I'm going to go to the gym today. I want to work out. And I want to get big and strong. And I want to bench 300 pounds. And I want to squat 400 pounds. And I want to deadlift 400 pounds. And how many people actually follow through and put in the work and the effort that it takes? Probably about 1 in a million. I don't know. Well, when you see someone in the gym, even if it's a home gym, heaven forbid, when you see someone in there working out 5 days a week, you don't question that person about anything. Because they got proof of what they're doing. Where versus you, whoever that's judging, typically don't have a lot that you can go look at. Or if you do, it's very minimal. So you can't just sit there and point at people and judge and say, you're guilty. You can't do it. $3.15. cow. Hey, what's up, Eric? How you doing? So, Eric, of course we're doing legs, but the topic for discussion is falsely accusing people of something that they didn't do to the point of that it ruins their lives and maybe, defames their character, whatever it is. Like I mentioned a while ago, there's people in our prison systems that have been in there for 10, 20, 50 years that were innocent and finally proven that were innocent, that were originally proven guilty when they're actually innocent. And I'm correlating that with people like myself in here working out versus the few people out there that like to claim 100% that they know that someone like myself is on TRT or steroids or something like that, just because we can move heavy weight. So that's kind of the topic for discussion, is the judge and jury getting things wrong and executing people that are innocent. And unfortunately, in the fitness community, the weightlifting community, and that, it's full of all that. You're going to find more times than not people are pointing a finger at somebody saying they're on something. So the burden of proof is on them. They have to prove that. So my argument is, why would I? Why would I be on something? So I can be in here and lift in my home gym and not compete, and my body look the exact same as it looked 20 years ago, and spend money and potential health risks with some of these things. So I'm just going to do that? It don't make any sense. Right. And again, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of it is just they're looking for an excuse as to why you're doing something that they can't do. That's all it is. If people actually put in the time and work, the effort, and the dedication that it takes to do these things, instead of just sitting behind their keyboard or their phones and sitting there judging people, if they put in more time doing the work, well, they might actually accomplish something. Yeah, Eric, and that's the thing. I work out 5 days a week, and like I mentioned, I have the same body I had 30 years ago. My body hasn't really changed, which is kind of sad, but kind of good maybe. My body looks pretty much the same as it has since I hit my 30s. My strength level has went up, but that's because I've put in more time. I've been more dedicated and devoted, and I don't miss. Whereas all them other years, I'd work out and miss and work out and miss and work out and miss. I still got strong. At the end of the day, my old bench press was 380, 385, and that was whenever I wasn't eating right, didn't do nothing right. I didn't train that much. I got up to like 385 bench pressing. My deadlifts were weak because I didn't really work on deadlifts. My squats were weak because my squat technique was horrible. And plus I have a bad back, so it kind of held me back. Back holding me back. Anyway. But over the years, I've gotten stronger. Over the years, I've worked on my 3 main lifts. Over the years, I've put in the time and the effort. And that's what a lot of people are not willing to do, is put in the time and effort. All right. So, we got 365 here, guys. $365. Yay! Now, I didn't exactly do what I wanted at all. I wanted to push myself to try and do 5 reps, but I don't think I have that in me. I don't know what I'll do now. So here's my thoughts on TRT, because I don't know about anything else. I've just heard people talk about TRT. So from what I understand with TRT, it literally can change your world. It can take you from someone like myself to me 20 years ago or 25, 30 years ago. It can help with depression, anxiety, your sex life. It can help with just all your mental status, everything. That's what I've understood about TRT, along with helping to boost your immune system maybe, and your energy levels, and help with depression, anxiety, all that stuff. That's what I understand about TRT. Now, here's the kicker. Some of you know, and some of you don't know, because some of you are new here, but I have really bad depression and anxiety. Diagnosed a long time ago. So if I was on TRT and it was supposed to help with that, it's failing. If it should help with the other things that I mentioned, it's failing. If it's supposed to help with sleep and rest and all that good stuff, it's failing. So I can't be any less on anything if I was dead. So it's just hard for people to accept that. What's up with all this hair and stuff? So anyhow, it's just some of these things that have been on my mind, and some of these things triggered it, like the TV show my wife was watching where the guy was in prison for 40 years. Come to find out he was innocent, and you have a whole judge and jury that's constantly telling him he's guilty, he's guilty, he's guilty, but in the end he ended up innocent. That shows you how wrong that people can be. Now imagine if like one or two just average idiots out there that are on the internet are judging you. How wrong are they? Pretty wrong. There's a good chance they're 100% wrong. And again, my body shows no signs of taking anything. And again, why would I be on anything? And like I mentioned, nobody bats an eye if I squat 400 pounds. Nobody bats an eye if I deadlift 500 pounds. But the second that you bench press 350, 400, whatever, people are automatically assuming, oh, you got to be on something. Hey, what cycle are you on? What are you doing? The only cycle I'm on is my stationary bike, everyday pedaling. That's the cycle I'm on. So if people out there are going to accuse people, you better do your research and really have some proof. So So I got 365 on the bar still. We're just gonna stick with that. Again, I wanted to do a set of 5, but I don't think I'm there. And but we're gonna do the best we can. And probably next week, if I remember, next week I'll probably go for a PR. Like 340, like 440, something like that. See how that goes. And to be clear here, my message today is not to change the minds of the finger pointing, you're guilty of this, you're guilty of that, idiots out there. It's not to change your mind, because your brain is gone. It's already like made up its mind, and there's no changing who you are and how you are, how you think and what you do and what you say. There's no change in that. But messages like this hopefully will reach the other masses who have not completely just lost their minds and, not really kind of willing to, I don't know what the word is, willing to accept that they don't know what they're talking about. And actually looking at the evidence that they have and taking it as that instead of trying to make things up. I tried to make that sound okay. Now I know I don't have a lot of people in here. My live streams don't get a lot of people. But if you're lurking, if you're one of my trolls or something, or if you're just in here lurking or what have you, or if you're one of my subscribers, make sure you hit that thumbs up, because that way it lets YouTube know that, hey, this guy's videos, his channel, and his live streams are important enough to maybe put out there and let people know. And hopefully we can get enough people to join in sometime that we can really get people to thinking and using some common sense, and maybe get some minds changed. So yesterday was my chest day, and I did manage to push 405 pounds again. It was really rough. It was a rough struggle to get that rep, but I got it. And if I was on some sort of gear, I'd probably be doing 405 a little better by now. But nobody wants to talk about that. So today legs, tomorrow probably deadlifts, and that's another topic. Now, I could say that for another video, but we're still going here. We still got a few sets. The fact that I made up my mind to stop chasing some big numbers in some of my lifts is not based on if I'm on a cycle or not. Number one, I'm not on a cycle. Never been on a cycle besides my bicycle or my spin cycle. What it's based on is my accomplishment, how I feel about what I've accomplished, and the fact that I have no real need to continue pushing my body that hard with that much weight. And a lot of the people that might judge me, the one person that might judge me, see, I'm 10 years older than you, 15, 20, I don't know how old that person is. And I got a lot of wear and tear on my body, and I'm older. So I probably don't want to keep pushing myself to the limits. And we don't have to. We can do whatever we want, and we don't have to answer to anyone. There is no, hey, can I do this, or do you mind if I do that? We do what we want. I have one boss, and that's my supervisor. That supervisor of transportation for the school system. That's my boss. I don't have to answer to anyone. So I do what I want, when I want, how I want. Pulling back from deadlifts. Why would I keep doing 500 pounds? I shouldn't have even been deadlifting anyway with my back how it is. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. A 405-pound bench press. That's good. Most people will never get that, ever, in their lifetime. There's people on drugs that will struggle to get that in their lifetime. I got it. I'm accomplished. Check mark. Check mark for deadlifts. Check mark for bench press. And I mentioned in my videos before, if you actually paid attention to the one person I'm talking to now, if you paid attention, I said, I'm going to try and get to this number. If I do okay, if not okay, I'll see how it goes. But see, you forget to put that in your video, you know, when you're making fun of me and belittling me and harassing me and stalking me and practically, you know, doing everything but asking me to be your boyfriend. And no, I'm not going to hold your hand or arm wrestle. I don't arm wrestle. I'm not a 2-year-old. I don't arm wrestle. That's just an excuse to hold guys' hands. Does your boyfriend know about that? Ooh, this is a live stream. I can't take that out. Anyhow, let's get another set. $365, set number 3. Live stream is slow today, guys. I don't usually get a lot of traffic, but I usually get a little bit more interaction. So my squats aren't going exactly how I wanted them to go. Like I said, I had kind of, not a plan, but kind of some directions. So it kind of didn't take this direction, didn't do so well at this direction, so I'm just kind of zigzagging to get into the home stretch here. Sometimes that happens. So today at least we didn't have any rain. There was actually moments of sun and beauty out there. Afternoon bus route, I even had the air units on and my fan blowing on me. So, not very cool out there either. So, as things kind of come to a close with some of my heavy lifts, as I mentioned before, I have mentioned that there's a sense of tranquility, a sense of peace, a sense of accomplishment, and a sense of the fact that I've earned, stepping down if I feel like it. And I also mentioned that never say never, that you never know in 5 years or 10 years if I'm still alive, still working out. You never know what I might do. I might do something miraculous and go back up and do some heavy weights if I still have this, mentality in my head. If I'm still able-bodied. Who knows? But knowing that I'm still going to be pushing heavy weights. I'm still, even if I go down 100 pounds in everything that I do, I'm still pushing more than the average guy. The average 18-year-old or the average 50-year-old. So, really, am I really losing? No. Because I've already reached all my goals. There is no losing at this point. I could even completely stop working out, and I'm good. I've reached all my goals. And like I mentioned a while ago, my body looks the same now as it did before I worked out. I look like this. So, that don't mean I was as strong, but I look like this. And, yeah. So let's go ahead and do another 365. I always go too far this way. And here's something else to think about. Let's say, let's just use me for reference. Let's say 10 years ago, let's say even longer, back in 2007 to 2010 is when I had kind of one of my strongest points when I was working out. And even then, again, I wasn't as consistent and persistent as I am now, and I really had no goals. But let's take me back then. So back then, eating the Great American Diet, which means anything I want, as much as I want, anytime I want, which is why I'm unhealthy. Let's look at my flat bench. My best flat bench, let's say, was 380. Okay? 380. And we're talking about way back in 2007, 8, 9, and 10. 380. Keep in mind, I look the same as I did. So, what that's saying is, number one, people are saying that I was probably on something back then. Well, I was in my 30s. Was I? No. So, I already moved that kind of weight back then. Muscle memory is a thing. It's called muscle memory for a reason. That don't mean that you can lay down 10 years later and do 380. That means you're going to get there quicker this time than the first time that you traveled up to 380. That means you're going to feel comfortable under the bars and the dumbbells and the machines and all that stuff, whereas you had to work your way up to feeling comfortable. And your technique, you already know that technique because it comes back like that. So where am I going with this? So I got 380. Let's say back in 2010 I got 380. So you're telling me, and that was not even pushing myself. That wasn't even being like nowhere near what I am these last 3.5, 4 years. Nothing close. So you're telling me that I can get to 380 halfway pushing myself in the gym and doing all this. I can get to 380 then, but adding on another 25 pounds, going at it every day like I do, would be impossible. 20 pounds? 25 pounds? Let's say 25 pounds to get a 405 pound bench. You're telling me with the hard work that I've put in and day out since like January 2021, January, February, somewhere in there, 2021, putting in all the hard work and the discipline that I've put in, there's no way that I could go from doing 380 back in 2010 to doing 405 with the discipline that I have now in 2021, 22. When did I hit my 405 pound? This year. I hit it in 2024 when I got my cage. I got my cage in about July. I got my cage, I think, in July of 2024. So you're looking at 25 pounds, and someone's wanting to pretend, call you out, try to humiliate you, try to berate you, try to lessen what you've accomplished because they can't do it over 25 pounds. Anyone should be able to add 25 pounds. Putting in the time and effort that I've put in, working out. Anybody. And if you can't, then you haven't put in the time and the effort. That's simple. Now, I can't wait to hear what someone tells me, because I don't go to his channel anymore, but I get told stuff by like a handful of different people. I can't wait to hear what my stalker has to say about all this and all the stuff he adds in and makes up and twists around and you know, tries to fit it to his narrative and his stupidity. And I can't wait, because he has such a crush on me. He has such the hots for me. I'm his main topic on his channel. Why? Because I think I'm one of the more up-and-coming channels, finally, that maybe he has to talk about. He's jealous. He's in love with me. And, you know, he has nothing better to talk about. So I can't wait to hear what he says. I'm sure somebody will tell me. So let's do another set of 365. Beautiful. See if I can set the bar down. This way. Close. What?
I was talking to you about it.
Well, I know. Well, I'm doing a video.
I said I got you oranges.
You can have them. I'll be out there in a little bit.
Okay.
Alright?
Okay.
Alright, take your medicine. You feeling good?
A little bit.
Okay. Love you. Alright. Youngest granddaughter. She's been sick for quite a while. And they just kind of figured out what it was. And she's kind of impacted, if you know what I'm saying. So, she's been miserable for a while. So, I know doing all these little singles probably don't impress too many people, but I think for right now I'm lucky to be doing that. I don't have a lot of breath to do a lot of reps anymore. Not exactly sure what it's from. I do know, I'm still getting over bronchitis. You don't just have it and then the next day you don't. It takes a while for it to kind of go away fully. And you can also have a cough. Keep the cough for a month or more. So, my buddy over at LCK Strength Training, he also has a channel, Last Chance Knives. He does good with reps. And he's a couple of years older than I am, but he does pretty good with the reps. And sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. Sometimes it's more mental and how much you want to push yourself. And sometimes it's not that easy pushing yourself. $365. I don't even know what I'm going to do for supper. I didn't thaw anything out. Not even really hungry. And that's another thing. And I've talked about that plenty of times on my channel about it's very difficult to eat enough, for me to really eat enough to try to keep up doing these heavy weights and sometimes heavy weights with a lot of reps and stuff like that. And because I don't like to eat that much. Just because I have some size to me don't mean that I like to eat that much. It means I hold weight really easily. So that's another reason to kind of start toning things down eventually with some stuff. And that way I don't feel like I have to try to eat and have to eat this much and eat this and eat that. And, I can just relax. If I don't want to eat, I don't eat. And most of the times I don't even eat lunch. If I do, it might be a Slim Jim, or it might be just a can of tuna. Open up a can of tuna and eat it out the can. And I don't even like doing that. I mean, a lot of times I'm just not hungry. So So, back on that topic of false allegations and passing judgment and all that, I'm really glad that really, you know, let's say there's 5 people out there on YouTube that are doing that to me or doing that to others along with me. I'm really glad it's only like that many, because that many people out of probably 1 billion people that are on YouTube, just a guess, let's say 1 billion. I mean, that's like nothing, and that's why they don't really get seen. That's why, you know, they just waste their time talking about people, because really nobody's seeing it. And that's not saying people are seeing mine. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that if you're not being pushed out there, if you're not a big channel, people ain't gonna see you. And then if they do, and they hear somebody talk about people like that, they're gonna go check out that person's channel, and then they're gonna see that that person was full of crap, and they're insane, and they're psycho, and they need mental evaluation and some shock therapy. So really, it's, you know, and a lot of times those people will end up subscribing to my channel or to some of these other channels, because they're like, there ain't nothing wrong with this person, they're perfectly fine, so I'll not watch this crazy person's channel, and I'm going to support this channel. So a lot of times that's what happens. So I know my channel is slowly still growing, no matter all the defamation of character, no matter all the slander and the lies and the harassment and all the stories and things that some people have made up. My channel's still growing, and whether or not, you know, it keeps growing or not, I don't know. But all that matters is that decent content and decent people should be celebrated, and everyone else really should be off the internet. So let's do another set, 365, and we'll see where we go from here.